Will we see a season 4 of Warrior? Bruce Lee's dream took 50 years to reach the screen. When it finally did, Warrior emerged as one of television's most explosive martial arts dramas, earning critical acclaim and a passionate fanbase across 3 different networks. After 3 electrifying seasons spanning 2 networks, a 96% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and what critics called, quote, the best martial arts choreography on TV, the series seemed poised for a Netflix resurrection. But in a shocking turn of events, star Joe Taslim just confirmed what fans feared most. The fight is finally over. How did a show this good, with Bruce Lee's legacy behind it, end up hanging up its gloves? Let's break down Warrior's final round. When Warrior premiered in 2019, it wasn't just another TV show. It was the realization of martial arts legend Bruce Lee's dream, a vision he outlined decades ago but never got to see come to life. Set in the brutal gang wars of the 1870s in San Francisco, the series brought together spectacular martial arts, complex political drama, and a predominantly Asian cast that broke new ground for representation on television. For 3 seasons, audiences followed Ah Sam, a Chinese martial arts prodigy who arrives in America searching for his sister, only to become entangled in Chinatown's deadly Tong Wars. The show survived Cinemax's exit from original programming, found new life on Max, and seemed destined for yet another resurrection on Netflix. But sometimes, even the greatest fighters can't win every battle. A legend's vision finally realized. In the 1970s, Bruce Lee pitched a concept about a Chinese martial artist in the American Old West. Hollywood wasn't ready then. But decades later, his daughter Shannon Lee helped bring the vision to life as Warrior's executive producer. What emerged wasn't just an action series. It was a groundbreaking drama that tackled immigration, racism, politics, and family loyalty while delivering some of the most impressive fight choreography ever seen on television. The show assembled a stellar cast led by Andrew Koji, whose portrayal of Ah Sam earned him widespread acclaim and launched him into roles in blockbusters like Bullet Train and Snake Eyes. The first fight for survival. Warrior's first brush with death came in early 2020. After 2 successful seasons on Cinemax, the network announced it would no longer produce original content. For most shows, this would have been the end. But Warrior's fans wouldn't go down without a fight. A petition garnering nearly 70,000 signatures caught Warner Brothers' attention. In what seemed like a miracle at the time, the show was revived for a 3rd season on Max. This resurrection wasn't just a victory for fans, it allowed the show to go bigger and bolder than ever before. The Max era. Season 3 of Warrior wasn't just another chapter, it was the show at its absolute peak. The production values were higher, the fight scenes more spectacular, and the storylines more ambitious than ever. Critics agreed, awarding the season a perfect 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes. The season finale left fans on the edge of their seats. Ah Sam and his sister Mai Ling finally united, while Li Yong took control of the Longji Tong. The stage was perfectly set for an explosive 4th season, but behind the scenes, storm clouds were gathering. The Netflix gambit. In December 2023, Max announced they wouldn't be moving forward with Warrior. But hope wasn't lost. Netflix had reached a deal to add all 3 seasons to their library. For fans, this felt like deja vu. After all, the streaming giant had previously rescued shows like Manifest and Black Mirror. Could Warrior pull off another miracle? The numbers tell an interesting story. When Warrior landed on Netflix in early 2024, the initial numbers painted a picture of cautious optimism. The first season made a respectable showing, climbing to the 80th spot among Netflix's most-watched shows and accumulating an impressive 109.6 million viewing hours. Combined with its perfect Rotten Tomatoes score for Season 3, it seemed like the show might have finally found its audience. However, digging deeper into the viewing data revealed a troubling pattern. The subsequent seasons failed to maintain this momentum, with Season 2 sliding to 180th place and managing only 70.9 million viewing hours. The decline continued with Season 3, which fell further to 205th place, barely reaching 65.5 million hours viewed. This consistent drop of roughly 35% in viewership between seasons told Netflix executives a story they'd seen before. While the show had a dedicated core audience, it wasn't expanding its reach in a way streaming platforms typically demand renewal. Despite critical acclaim and passionate fan support, these numbers simply couldn't justify the high production costs associated with Warrior's premium action sequences and period setting. In the ruthless mathematics of streaming success, critical acclaim alone isn't enough. You need sustained, growing viewership to survive. The brutal reality of streaming. In today's cutthroat streaming landscape, the harsh reality is that artistic merit and critical acclaim often take a backseat to raw viewing numbers and growth potential. While Warrior's performance on Netflix wasn't disappointing by any means, it fell short of the astronomical numbers that typically convince streamers to resurrect canceled shows. For comparison, when Netflix saved Manifest, the series had dominated the platform's top 10 list for months on end, creating a cultural phenomenon that could not be ignored. Warrior faced multiple uphill battles that made a revival particularly challenging. The cast had already been released from their contracts, with star Andrew Koji booking major roles in high-profile projects like Gangs of London. The show's impressive production values, while contributing to its quality, also meant each episode carried a hefty price tag, significantly above typical streaming fare. The declining viewership numbers, though respectable, didn't demonstrate the kind of explosive growth that streaming services look for when considering such a significant investment. In the end, Warrior found itself caught in streaming's cruel paradox, being too expensive to produce without blockbuster numbers, yet too niche to generate those numbers despite its undeniable quality. This predicament reflects a broader industry trend where even critically acclaimed shows must either generate massive viewership or face extinction, regardless of their artistic merits or cultural significance. The final bell. On September 22, 2024, Joe Taslim, who played Lee Yong in all 30 episodes, delivered the news fans had been dreading. Talking to social media, he wrote, quote, "Season 3 is our last season. We don't have a chance to continue the story." What makes this cancellation particularly heartbreaking is that Warrior was reaching unprecedented creative heights just as the curtain fell. Season 3 showrunners Evan Endicott and Josh Stoddard had already mapped out an ambitious vision for the series' future, with numerous compelling storylines left unexplored. Fans will never witness the potentially explosive dynamics of Ah Sum and Mai Ling's newfound alliance against Chinatown, a partnership that promised to reshape the entire power structure of the series. The fascinating prospect of watching Lee Yong's evolution as he ascends to power as the Long Ji leader will remain forever unexplored. The fate of fan-favorite character Chow after that shocking season finale will continue to haunt viewers with its unresolved tension. Perhaps most tantalizing of all, the looming threat of Mayor Buckley and his political machinations against Chinatown will never reach its intended climax. These dangling plot threads represent not just unfinished storylines, but a wealth of untapped potential that speaks to the show's creative momentum at the time of its cancellation. Series creator Jonathan Tropper perhaps said it best, quote, "Warrior is a show that simply refuses to die. Through platform and regime changes, the writers, producers, cast, crew, and our stunt team continue to make something powerful, relevant, and wildly unique." The Bruce Lee connection. What makes Warrior's End particularly poignant is its connection to Bruce Lee's legacy. Shannon Lee, Bruce's daughter, and executive producer of the series, saw the show as more than just entertainment. It was the realization of her father's dream. Quote, "If anything can be said about Warrior," Shannon noted, "with Bruce Lee in our corner, our indomitable spirit is real." Her hope that Netflix's global audience would discover and fall in love with the show speaks to a larger truth. Sometimes success isn't just about numbers, but about the lives you touch along the way. The streaming landscape's hard truth. Warrior's fate lays bare a sobering reality about today's television landscape, one where exceptional quality alone no longer guarantees a show's survival. On paper, the series seemed to have every ingredient necessary for longevity. It boasted impressive critical acclaim, with a 93% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It also enjoyed unwavering support from a passionate fanbase that awarded it a stellar 96% audience score, maintained consistently strong creative direction throughout its run, offered a unique premise that set it apart from typical television fare, and carried genuine cultural significance in its representation and storytelling. Yet, in today's increasingly ruthless streaming era, where platforms are aggressively tightening their budgets and demanding immediate, blockbuster-level hits, Even this perfect storm of positive attributes proved insufficient to secure the show's future. We have lost a show that dared to be different. In a television landscape increasingly dominated by safe bets and familiar formulas, Warrior took risks. It combined genres, challenged expectations, and proved that television could be both thoughtful and thrilling. What do you think about Warrior's cancellation? Do you believe streaming services should give shows like this more time to find their audience? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for a more in-depth analysis of your favorite shows.